Let's try this again.
And we're back here at the Marist Poll testing out the cameras. We have all these cool stuff. Testing out the microphone.
Again.
Can you hear me? Nope, not at all.
Okay, selfie time. Yay!
The Iceman cometh.
Feel the rain, we're feeling it.
You have the right to determine the future of America, not just a handful of billionaires.
Suddenly, this quadrennial pestilence that descends upon this state will migrate south.
This is 1992 one still.
Okay, guys, so this is the eve of the New Hampshire primary. So you've done polling, you've worked with MIPO, you've done coursework. As you eventually reflect on what you've seen, how would you say this fits in as an educational thing? In other words, as a component to, because there's no credit for this. I mean, you're here. So how does this work out when you think about this in terms of fulfillment educationally?
In political communication and politics last year, when we learned about framing a message and what goes into framing a message and how a candidate picks his words or her words and decides what people will be most attracted to, what style of language, will it be more telling someone that there's something wrong and igniting something in them, or like being more explanatory in how they frame their arguments and their platforms and how they really attract their support.
What is the coolest thing for me is how all of these people that you see on TV that you've talked about, you can take pictures of them, you hear them with your own ears. There's something that's really special about that. I mean, we could have taken a picture with the next president of the United States before we even knew it. And there's just something like so cool about that raw and inherent interaction that you have with those people. That to me is really cool. It brings the entire idea of the political process that is so fantastic in the United States, really brings it to life.
The next president of the United States, Senator Ted Cruz.
As a PR major, we constantly talk about target audiences. And throughout this entire trip, we've been able to be a part of those target audiences. And just to be in the moment with the crowd that surrounds you, you feel the different energy that they have, the different vibes, you know the way they treat you differently, and you see the audience that those candidates cater to. And I think that I learned about it in fundamentals, now writing tools, but to be able to actually see it and feel it and truly understand it due to my experience is really something that I know I'll carry on.
I recall from the survey research class, we looked at so many crosstabs. And I mean, actually it came to life this afternoon for me, which I made the link during the Ted Cruz rally. We had the older white male population. You know, we were the youngest, we were the diverse population there. I immediately went back to the class, like the crosstabs, like who are they looking for? What do they cater to?
I thought that it was really interesting how he answered questions about going into Iraq and whether he would have done that or not. And you could see how he said, like, you know, knowing what I know now versus at that time I wouldn't have had that job, so I wasn't informed, so I really can't say. I thought that was just the most fair, kind of non-controversial answer to give.
There were a lot of journalists we interacted with, and some of them you've met before. So tell me a little bit about their craft and how you were reacted to them.
You have to have a familiarity with the facts and history, and just to know all of this, and then also have to be catering to people and have that people skill is also a very fundamental need to be in the media industry.
And Ted Cruz speaking just a few hundred feet behind me here.
I'm just so struck about, just how talented they are and how important these people are as serious journalists.
Something that Steve Thoma said in particular, I think you had asked him at one point if there was anything special about Iowa, if there was anything really significant about it this time around. And of course we're sitting there and we're like, wow, yeah, this is like totally crazy race. Like this is totally like different than anything that we've ever seen. And he was just like, no, like nothing unusual. And to me, I was like, what? This is crazy. But he's seen so much. And what was so cool is that he's looking at it just thinking, yeah, this is the way it is. There's always going to be unexpected candidates. There's always going to be crazy things that happen. There's always going to be like some strange different scenarios. So from his perspective, it's not different. It's not new. It's just someone just took the deck and shuffled it up again. And that's what his craft is. His craft is in news, in the changing tide of events and, you know, the ups and downs in politics. So that to me was cool to sort of gain that perspective and like, oh, this is the way that a hardcore journalist is thinking.
People often say like, oh, political science, communications, like what are you gonna do with that? But after this weekend, seeing these journalists and how passionate they are about it, and I think that it's so interesting how all those journalists are on the brink of discovery. They're just about to discover something that is so unknown to the public, and it's these little things that can come out to the entire public and change the course of a candidate's entire year, entire lifetime. And it's our responsibility as political science students or as journalists, PR, advertising students to have that sort of influence over the public. So I think that's, to be able to understand that now and have that going forward in my education is crucial.
So tell me about this in terms of an innovative way of learning.
It was really a learning experience to see how we can frame what politicians are saying, even with a video camera. It just like people do it when they write, people do it when they film, they take pictures. We saw the reporter who took a picture through underneath Rubio's legs in one of his rallies, and it's just the way you frame it, and that's something that was cool for us to be able to do that ourselves after being told the news for so long to witness it.
I want you to know, and I mean this totally sincerely, you know, the 6 of you did this, you know, that's kind of a risk. I mean, you didn't know what you were getting in for, okay? And I just think that, and I know we all feel that, and I know Barb feels this as well. I mean, we could not have been more proud of your interactions, your energy, your commitment, and your dedication. And you've done us all good, you've done Marist good. So thank you for making the trip.